One day after the Knicks made a blockbuster trade, Ian Bigley drops a report, and Chris and I are here to break it all down. What's up, guys? It's your boy Dariel and Chris from Knicks Digest. And before we get into today's video, we just want to remind you guys, we were taking a look into our analytics, and if you take a look here, 80% of you guys, 83 to be exact, are not subscribed to the channel. We just want to remind you guys to smash that subscription button if you want to keep up to date with all the Knicks news that's been going on. During the season, off the season, trades, injuries, whatever you want to hear, make sure you smash that subscription button. Going into today's video, Ian Bigley tweeted this: I don't think the New York Knicks are done. I think this was maybe one of two bigger moves. Now, of course, what Ian Bigley is talking about, he is talking about the trade that the Knicks had with the Toronto Raptors, Emmanuel Quickley, R.J. Barrett, for OG Anunoby, Malachi Flynn, Precious Achiuwa, along with picks. So, Chris, now that trade has gotten done, there's been a lot of rumors regarding another all-star caliber player that the Knicks are actually interested in. We're talking about Dejounte Murray. And if we take a look into another report by Michael Scotto of Hoops Hype, if you take a look here, while losing quickly seemingly hurts a potential trade package for Murray on paper, Murray remains a player the Knicks are interested in acquiring. All right, so Chris, having taken a look into those two reports, give me your thoughts about the rumors that the Knicks are going to be going into Dejounte Murray.
Well, I mean, I think Dejounte Murray is definitely one of the lead guys who they are going for, and it would make sense. The Knicks have a lack of ball handlers outside of Jalen Brunson right now. We're going to talk a lot more about Deuce McBride in the future, but essentially we know that he's basically going to be the Knicks' backup point guard going forwards, and Malachi Flynn's probably going to get situational minutes at best. The Knicks are low on ball handlers, and Brunson seems a little tired from having to constantly dominate the ball. It would make some sense that the Knicks would be interested in acquiring Dejounte, because then you have quite the defensive team between Murray and Anunoby when it comes to perimeter defense. And then obviously next season, once Mitchell Robinson comes back, I don't know if I'm the biggest fan of it because I worry about either Murray or Brunson having to play off the ball and watching them play worse. But I do see some logic behind it. The Knicks definitely should get some more type of ball handler just in case Deuce McBride doesn't work out or if him or Flynn get injured. Because Brunson might be getting a little overworked right now.
I could see how the rumors going for Dejounte Murray would make sense now that we have acquired OG. So there's a lot of moving pieces right now, but I'm excited to see what OG brings to the team, a 3-and-D player. He is a little limited offensively, but if we were to go out and get Dejounte Murray, I don't want to say that I see how it would fit because it would probably be a work in progress. But I could see how the Knicks are they're paying a little bit more attention to the perimeter defense, which is what we've been saying for how many videos now. We've been saying how that the Knicks, the three-point defending has been atrocious, and OG is known for being one of the better perimeter defenders in the league. Dejounte being 6'5", a 6'5" point guard. That's where Jalen Brunson, Jalen Brunson and Dejounte being on the same floor at the same time, again, that's going to be a work in progress. But that is where Dejounte Murray can pick up the slack, where Jalen Brunson is going to be having a lot of trouble defending bigger guards.
It is something where Dante DiVincenzo is certainly a good defender. There's no argument that he's not, but he's not Dejounte Murray, and he's not even where Quentin Grimes is defensively. Obviously, OG is just going to guard the best player on the team, probably 1 through 4 at this point, unless there's like some matchups. I mean, for instance, like Giannis, OG's not guarding him. They're still going to put Randall on him because the strength thing. But OG's got that ability to basically lock up any single player on the court, especially 1 to 3, but really 1 to 4 on most teams. It would still help to have Dejounte Murray, though, because as far as this team goes, they're kind of built off a defensive identity most of the time. So adding someone like Dejounte Murray would definitely help perimeter defensively, and it would give Brunson a little more room to sort of take a back seat defensively and let him kind of run the offense and be that elite scorer that we need him to be, especially come playoff time. So there's definitely positives to the move.
Okay, and if you're actually asking how would we be able to acquire Dejounte Murray, there's been a report by Kristen Winfield. If we take a look at it here, if they wanted to acquire Dejounte Murray, the Knicks could send the Hawks Evan Fournier's expiring contract plus any 3 first-round picks and a first-round pick swap, a comparable trade to what the Hawks gave the Spurs to acquire Murray in the first place. And if we take a look into Dejounte Murray's numbers, For this season, he is averaging 20 points, averaging 4.5 rebounds, 5.3 assists, shooting 45% from the field. 3-point percentage, he is shooting 37.9, and he's hitting his free throws at 83%. Now, it's interesting because when the Hawks were able to acquire Dejounte Murray, they felt like that was gonna be the foundation for the future between him and Trae Young. But unfortunately, it seems like it hasn't been really working out, which is why all these rumors, not even just with the Knicks, with different teams in the NBA, has been swirling.
Lakers especially.
What was that?
The Lakers especially.
Lakers especially. And he was an all-star with the Spurs, I believe. I believe he made it 1 year.
Yeah, he made it his last year with the Spurs, and I believe I could be wrong about this. I'm pretty sure he averaged 29 with 8 rebounds and 9 assists. He had a baller season, but then he started playing the 2 guard, and I think the problem with the Hawks, obviously this is not Hawks Digest, so we don't have to harp on this, but in my mind, what the problem is they're both floor generals. Both Trae Young and Dejounte Murray. They're both floor generals. And now Dejounte was stuck at the 2, and some of it's helped. I mean, he's shooting 38% from 3, which we have not seen since his rookie year when he shot 41 on like almost no attempts. But now we're looking at a guy who maybe has learned to shoot, so it's not all a loss, and that's the case. Jalen Brunson's not a floor general.
When you say floor general, you mean like Dejounte and Trae Young, like they need the ball in their hands? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, basically, they want to work with the ball in their hands, and they're both, not to call Trae Young a pass-first player because he averages nearly 30 points per game, but, I mean, he's always getting double-digit assists. The man, when he was getting the Steph Curry comparisons, he's like, no, I'm closer to Steve Nash than Steph Curry. And when you look at guys like that, yeah, I think both of them are, like, such high-level passers that they need the ball in their hands to be fully effective.
Now, devil's advocate, this trade, Dejounte Murray coming to the Knicks hasn't even happened, obviously. But if he were to come to the Knicks, automatic starting 5, obviously. Now, what would you say to me saying that Jalen Brunson and Dejounte Murray being in the same starting 5, Jalen Brunson is I think it's pretty obvious that he needs the ball in his hands to be effective. He's not great at distributing the ball. It's not to say that he can't do it, but when you see Jalen Brunson and when you see him being most effective is when he has the ball in his hands, attacking the rim, being aggressive with shots. So how do you see those two working together?
That's my fear, is if we're looking at Brunson, he's at his best when he's working with the ball. It would be helpful to have Murray because he could take some pressure off of Brunson. For instance, when Brunson gets double teamed every 5 minutes now, it would really help. But also, again, I don't really want them to be sharing touches because I think it's going to backfire for both of them more than it's going to help. I mean, obviously, Brunson and Trae are very different players, but we just saw this experiment fail in Atlanta. I don't think it's time to give up multiple first-round picks for a guy who we just saw as part of a failed experiment. And it's not Dejounte's fault that the experiment failed, but I don't know if it would succeed in New York. I mean, this is a guy who's for a lot of the time in his best season was averaging nearly 10 assists per game. Now he's averaging 5. That is very worrisome, and it's because he's playing off the ball, which doesn't work. I don't think there's any world where the Knicks are going to tell Jalen Brunson, hey, you're no longer our guy to bring up the ball and to be our on-ball guy. That's just, to say that would happen would be such a lie. Obviously, we both know it's not going to.
Never.
And for that reason, I really don't think the Knicks should look at Dejounte Murray like that. I think Brunson's, as you said, not really a distributor, but he's also not a bad passer by any means. When it comes to NBA point guards and you think the best passing point guards in the league, do you think Jalen Brunson? No. When you think of the worst passing point guards in the league, you also don't think Jalen Brunson. Right. He's good enough as a playmaker when you have a guy like Julius Randle, who's one of the best playmaking fours in the league. Dante DiVincenzo does have some semblance of playmaking ability also. And then while Isaiah Hartenstein's in the lineup, his best ability is to make plays from the high post. So I really, or at least offensively, so I really think that this probably is not the move for the Knicks right now.
And you brought up a player that I was literally going to bring up to you, is Julius Randle. We didn't even talk about that. If Dejounte Murray were to come to the team and he'd be in the starting 5, that's another player that needs the ball in his hands to be effective. So it's like Jalen Brunson is still good. In my opinion, I think Jalen Brunson will still be 1A. Julius Randle will be 1B. And Dejounte Murray is going to be the one that have to sacrifice and be the third option.
Like RJ.
So I don't know if the fit would be there entirely.
I agree.
So I mean, we'll see what happens, but
I think with Dejounte Murray, it would basically be the same thing. Like my biggest point of like happiness for this trade, and Manny and RJ were my two favorite Knicks. But when you look at it, the Knicks had too many cooks in the kitchen. RJ wanted to drive to the hoop and have the ball in his hands. He now gets to do that in Toronto. The Knicks already had Brunson and Randall, who both go to the left side as it is more normally. Obviously, Brunson can work wherever, but you have RJ, who's very similar to Julius Randle, and he wanted to score the ball. He wanted to have the ball in his hands. He didn't really want to play off the ball that much. So why would we just reset that and go for Dejounte Murray? If you are going to go for someone who wants the ball in their hands, this isn't like shade towards Dejounte Murray. I would rather it be someone who scores the ball better than someone who's going to distribute the ball because Brunson and the playmaking is good enough on the Knicks that they don't need to bring in a playmaker as much as if you want someone who's going to want the ball, they have to be someone who can both, one, play off the ball because they're good enough to play on or off the ball, and two, be such a good isolation scorer because let's face it, for all the things that the Knicks are great at, Randall can sort of create his own shot down low, but he's not really a great shot creator. Brunson's a tremendous shot creator, but that's really it. There's no other shot creation on this team. So I think that if you're going to take someone who wants the ball in their hands, they have to be able to hit their own shots and play on and off the ball, which leads us into our next guy. So, Dariel, bring it up.
Donovan Mitchell.
Donovan Mitchell. We are back on the Donovan Mitchell train. And Dariel, guess what?
What?
My tune has changed. I want him on the Knicks.
Talk to me. What's up?
Okay.
What made you change your tune?
Okay, so first of all, and this is a big if, so I'm starting it off probably on the wrong point here because I'm instantly going into an if. But say the Knicks trade for Donovan Mitchell, I truly believe that a guy who is a super athlete, who's like 6'2", 6'3", not very tall, but has that like near 7-foot wingspan, has that level of athleticism. If anyone is going to make that guy a good defender, it is Tibbs. For all the things that Tibbs does well, all the things that he does wrong, that man can teach defense. Look at Quickly's development on the defensive end from his first season with the Knicks to now. Now he's a great defender, and Toronto's going to love that. And Donovan can get there to the degree where he could be a good defender. And when you look at the top teams in the Eastern Conference, for instance, a team like the Philadelphia 76ers, you could stick OG on Maxey and stick Brunson on like DeAnthony Melton, who mainly is just going to be there to spot up on the offensive end. Donovan Mitchell has the arm length, the strength, and if he can learn some more defensive, or if he could pick up some more defensive skills, he could guard a guy like Kelly Oubre. If you play the Celtics, Donovan Mitchell can just sit on either Drew Holiday or Derek White, and it would be fine. If you're playing the Bucks, you can stick Brunson on Beasley and tell him don't leave, just deny the ball from him so he can't shoot threes. And you can stick Donovan Mitchell on Chris Middleton. Middleton's not moving very fast anymore. True. I realistically think that Donovan Mitchell, his big reason why wanting to leave the Jazz is that he was sick of having the ball in his hands 24/7. He didn't want to carry the offensive load the way he did. Now, what did the Knicks make Cleveland do? In the playoffs, they made Donovan Mitchell have to carry the offensive load and shoot 28 shots, and he doesn't want to do that. He could play off the ball. He could play on the ball. He can hit his shots. If he could figure out defense, which I think if anywhere where he'd be happy in New York with Tibbs coaching, he could figure that defense out. Realistically, Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, OG Anunoby, Julius Randle, and Mitchell Robinson when he's healthy, that is a team that has the potential on paper, because we have not seen it play, we haven't seen OG play yet, but has the potential on paper to go on an absolute heater and make the NBA Finals.
Listen, a few videos ago, I said that you were the one to make me change my opinion about Donovan Mitchell. At this point, and no trade had happened. No trade had happened, and the rumors of Donovan Mitchell, even the OG Anunoby trade, were going on. And I was like, we're at a point where we're just stagnant. We need to make a move. And okay, this was the first move, and it looks like, just like Ian Begley said, that looks like it's gonna be the first of many. And I'm open to seeing it. I'm open to seeing it. All I would have to say is they better be making more moves, because if we gave up Barrett quickly for OG Anunoby, and that's gonna be the only thing that happens this season, I'm gonna be pissed. But
I agree.
yeah, it looks like it looks like there's gonna be more moves, and it might not even be Donovan Mitchell. It might not be even Dejounte Murray. We don't know what Leon Rose has going on behind closed doors.
Yeah,
But
Leon doesn't give us anything. Where did this come from? Like, I did not expect that yesterday.
yeah, so we'll see what happens.
Because I truly do think this move indicates that the Knicks are about to go all systems go for Donovan Mitchell. So then you have, not counting Randall, even though he is very close with Leon Rose and all that, you have, instead of the big three, you have the CAA three between Brunson, Anunoby, and Donovan Mitchell. Brunson and Anunoby both have Sam Rose as their agent. Sam Rose is the son of Leon Rose. And then Donovan Mitchell doesn't have Sam Rose as his agent, but he is a CAA client. The Knicks keep it all in the family. And I think this indicates that they are definitely going to go for Donovan Mitchell over Dejounte Murray when it comes to the agencies that they both play for, Donovan being CAA and Dejounte Murray being Clutch Sports.
All right, guys, so we're going to end it there. But before we end the video, we just want to remind you guys to hit that subscription button if you want to be up to date with all the news that the Knicks are going to be coming out with. Like Chris and I just said, there's rumors there's going to be more trades going on. If you want to hear what's going to happen, subscribe to Knicks Digest. And for Chris and I, we'll check you guys out in the next video.
Subscribe as a New Year's resolution.